Good morning, everybody, and welcome to your Network 216 pregame show for the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens today. I am Tyler Johnson, joined by Jacob Roach, Casey Kinnaman, Eddie McDonald. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you guys feeling this morning?
It's been a really relaxing long weekend. I took a couple of days off, so pretty calm, pretty chill, pretty excited. Everything's good, I think.
I think.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Salute to the veterans. Shout out to all of them. And now it's Browns game day, and it's a big game, and I'm excited, and it's just a great morning. It's been a great weekend. I also had a long weekend. We had Friday off at work, so
Same.
I've been busy having fun this weekend, and now I'm gonna have more fun at 1 o'clock hopefully.
I've been working my face off. I want one of those days off you guys are talking about. That sounds nice. I'm in a transition period right now. I'm in my old office. I got my office back, so the next time you see me, I'll have stuff on the walls and it'll look all colorful. But as of right now, it looks like a hotel room.
It's all right, dude. I had to do when Zadarius Smith got traded to the Browns. I was doing a quick video on my phone from a hotel room. So do what you got to do.
That's right.
At least it's not your daughter's room like it was. So.
Yes. Yeah, I've upgraded slightly.
Anyway, guys, if you are joining us on YouTube today, just take a quick second, drop a like onto the video if you would. Subscribe if you're brand new to Network 216, as we are on the push for 3,000 subscribers here, and we can't get there without your help. Completely free to subscribe, so make sure you take advantage of that. You can also watch the show on the Lockerverse app in the Dog Pound Lounge, so make sure you guys are checking us out there, sending your questions, your comments through there. Guys, the Browns are going to take on the Ravens now for the second time this year. I think it's safe to say, I think this is a fair thing to say, the Ravens right now are playing like they are the best team in the NFL. I mean, they are on a roll, and it's not with really throwing the ball. It's them running the ball. But the thing is about this Ravens team, it's not the same Ravens team that we're accustomed to running the ball with all the multiple tight ends, Patrick Ricard in at fullback. They are running it. 11 personnel, they're running it from 3 wide receiver sets out of shotgun. And right now, there is not a single team in the NFL has been able to stop them. So what are your thoughts on this Ravens offense? Because that's where I think it boils down to today more than anything is, can this Browns defense, which couldn't show up in Cleveland against Baltimore, can they do it today?
It has similar vibes to the San Francisco game, really, coming into this. It feels pretty similar. And it's obviously not ran by their passing game, but their passing game's there, and it's short and it's efficient. I think that it's just a very efficient passing game. Lamar's leading the league in completion percentage. They stay up with the sticks, man. They don't get caught in third and long, and that's the key today. Is you got to put them in third and long. That's how you're going to get off the field today. If not, it's going to be a lot of middling drives. Now they might be able to stop them short of the end zone, but this Ravens it's a ball controlled team, and we'll see if they have all their complementary backs today. But when they come downhill at you, I mean, if you let them come downhill, it's just a long afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. That offensive line, that's a great offensive line they've got in front of them in terms of run blocking. And I think they, and they're healthier than the first time they played the Browns as well, especially at the biggest spot in Ronnie Stanley being out there. I mean, Ronnie Stanley is one of my favorite offensive linemen in the NFL, and he's just dealt with just a plethora of bad luck when it comes to injuries that have just put him in a spot where he hasn't really played a ton the last couple of years. But when he's out there, that he's out there, and that's one of the biggest key matchups is him and Myles Garrett today. But they ran for 298 last week. That's a good Seattle run defense. We've seen that Seattle run defense. They're not the best run defense in the NFL or anything. I'm not saying anything like that, but that's still an upper half of the league run defense. They ran for 298 on him, and Keaton Mitchell did $150 or something like that, and he had 13 carries. As a dude I really thought could come to Cleveland with some explosive, dynamic home run hitting ability, and then he goes to freaking Baltimore. The thing is about that first matchup that really stuck out for me in terms of the run game was they knew exactly how to schematically scheme up and outplay the Browns' run defense. They understood exactly how the Browns play run defense, exactly how Jim Schwartz lines up on his front four, front five, as well as where he puts his linebackers, and they understood exactly how to gut them, and they just gut them all day in that game. And now they've been gutting everybody else on the ground. I think the Browns do go into this very motivated to wash the stink off of, because you don't often get a chance to play someone who beats your ass again later that year unless it's a division rival. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that opportunity. And I think especially up front, I think Jim Schwartz put a massive emphasis on making sure that his D tackle room looks like the 2023 D tackle room and not the 2022 like it did the first time.
Yeah. Also in that first game, the rookie quarterback started, and then that everything was thrown off. 10:30, everyone thinks, all right, we're going to be behind Deshaun. We're going to play for Deshaun. And then Deshaun's like, nope, not playing. Sorry.
Nope. Sorry.
So that plays into it. So when and they were going they were both getting off the field, but right back on the field, the defenses were. So I think this will be way different this time, because I think the Browns will be able to control the ball a little bit longer and keep their defense a little more rested. And then I think they'll be fine. I think they'll game plan better, more motivated, like Jacob was talking about, because like you said, that was just embarrassing in that week. And that was just a weird week. But like Casey said earlier, this feels just like San Francisco. No one's giving the Browns a chance. The Ravens have all this hype. They have a great defense. Lamar Jackson is an MVP candidate, and no one's giving the Browns a chance. And then I think the defense takes exception to that, and they play well, because last week there were sort of like questions about them too, even though it was just Arizona, and they came out and put one of the best performances ever.
I think the big question is going to be, I think they can do a better job at containing the Ravens run game, but that has been the weakness the last couple of weeks for the Browns, is defending the ground game. Lamar Jackson against the Browns in his career has a passer rating of 100, nearly 1,600 yards passing, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I mean, it speaks for it. I was saying this on Thursday night on the PSF app. Lamar Jackson is right now our Ben Roethlisberger. That's who he is. He doesn't lose he does not lose if he starts against the Browns. And right now, that seems really where it's at. So my question is for you guys: how do you think Jim Schwartz is going to go about game planning for Lamar Jackson? Because even during this win streak for the Ravens, Lamar has been efficient, like you mentioned, Casey, but he's not being asked to really throw it that much because they can just run it at will. So how do you think Jim Schwartz is going to prepare for this today?
Can you, real quick before you do that, there's just a question that popped up.
Yeah.
Talking about, there's no confirmation about any of this. It's just a rumor that Hudson could play right tackle, Bitonio play left. In this case, he's trying to say that Dunn steps in at guard. Dunn's on IR, so that's not happening. But
week after it could be a different story.
Yeah. But for this week, I think we'll know in about 15 or 20 minutes. So sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to get on that before.
No, you're fine. So yeah, the question about how do you think Jim Schwartz is gonna try and contain Lamar Jackson today? Now I get what you're saying, Eddie. Different circumstances. We're in Cleveland, but either way, he had 4 touchdowns against this defense. So how do you think Jim Schwartz is going to adjust to that?
It's going to be an all-encompassing effort. I know we want to just assign a spy is always like the answer, but it's not that easy. If it was that easy, this code would have been cracked long ago. Yep. It's going to take an encompassing effort. This is one game where you can't allow your edge rushers to be too aggressive because they give up cutback lanes for someone like Lamar, and he gets free yardage. So it's going to have to swarm him. Now you're going to have a mid-level spy at times. I'm still bullish to think, because I know that the rule of thumb is you can't play a ton of man against Lamar, because that puts your defensive backs turned to Lamar, and Lamar just eats up yards. But that also is what you do the best. So they have to find a healthy mixture of mixing in their zone with their man and keeping the rules of engagement for Lamar in play at all times, which he's a unicorn, man. This is Navy. This is one guy you prepare for that's different than everything else you prepare for, because what he brings to the table. But Schwartz has to come up with answers. He did get schemed up this last time they played, and that probably hasn't sat well with him. So there's going to be some new wrinkles. We don't know what they're going to be quite yet. But I just – you just got to hope that the defense keeps the back in their mind the whole time. This is a different cat. This is no one else you're playing, man. This is Lamar Jackson, and you have to approach him differently. You keep your defensive ends a little less aggressive getting upfield so they don't give up cutback lanes, and you just have to keep lane assignment with your defensive tackles and just try to give up as little as possible. He's going to get his. You just got to limit those opportunities. So, it's a bend but don't break type of scenario today for the Browns defense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very hard to contain Lamar Jackson. So, like, you're right. He's going to get his. You have to make him make a mistake. And he doesn't make them often, but he only has 3 picks this year. But he can. This defense could get to him. I'm very excited to see how they handle we just talked about the running game, but of Lamar, because he's been excelling. And you were writing about it this week, Casey, on third down, because they pass on first down now. They have all these passes on first down, so that gives them third and short. So if there's nobody open, Lamar just has to scramble a couple yards, boom, first down. They can't allow that this week. I am going to be excited to see how they do it. It sounds to me, like you said, it's going to be the encompassing effort.
We're barking already. Let's go. We're barking already.
Whose dog is
Sorry,
that?
Eddie.
No, you're good. I love it. The dog's excited. I love dogs. We're good. Yeah, I don't even know what I was going to say. Someone else talk now. The dog threw me off my train of thought.
So I think the big thing is, again, with Lamar, I know this sound because he's improved much as a passer, so it's kind of difficult to say this. Make him beat you with his arm. I mean, right now, the thing is, though, he does lead the NFL in completions of 10-plus yards or more down the field. So he has been really efficient. I remember we were talking back when they were coming to Cleveland. Why Todd Monken with Lamar? It just doesn't seem to make sense. Well, Todd Monken, you know what? Credit to him. Playing around his quarterback, he's playing to his skill set, and Lamar Jackson's making it pay off. So, credit to him. I think you got to make Lamar beat you. Gus Edwards right now is on an absolute tear these last couple weeks. And I think I'd rather take the ball out of Gus Edwards' hands and make Lamar try and beat you with his arm. I mean, Lamar does have 5 touchdowns, and he's been a big part of this running attack as well. Keaton Mitchell has come on, but I know he's battling an injury, but he is going to play. I think Gus Edwards is the big key here in the run game. If you can contain Gus Edwards in the run game, it puts more pressure on Lamar to be that guy that has to do everything for Baltimore. Mm-hmm. So if I was Jim Schwartz, my goal would be to limit Gus Edwards' impact in this game. Because right now, Gus Edwards, as crazy as it sounds, has been the one that's been driving this engine on offense for Baltimore over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's like Lamar's playing as good as he's probably ever played, I think, right now. It's a really important thing to talk about is exactly what you said. The pass is over 10 yards. He's on pace to potentially hit 1,000 yards again as a rusher. He'd be borderline there right now based on, math and all that crap. So he's on pace to get back there because he's not been there for the last year or so. But he's been reckless, as he always has, with the football in the pocket. I mean, he's fumbled 10 times this year. He's lost 6 of them, but he's fumbled 10 times this year. So there's absolutely a path to forcing turnovers against Lamar Jackson. And one thing I will always say about Joe Woods was there were a couple of games every year that you knew Joe Woods was going to coach really well, and it was against Cincinnati and it was against Baltimore. Don't get me wrong, they didn't always beat Baltimore, but his defenses against Baltimore were better than they were against other teams most of the time anyway. Mm-hmm. You have that 4 interception game where the Browns couldn't find a way to win that one. That was really fun. And he kind of showed you that blueprint, and it reminds you that Brian Flores threw a lot of blitzing at Lamar on a Thursday night with Miami, and that was kind of the blueprint. And it's like right now his wide receivers, in my mind, are just okay. None of them are really playing at a high level. So he has to make the big throws, the tight window throw. He's not going to get bailed out by his wide receivers, in my mind. That's where
I would agree.
So put him under pressure and force him to make quick reads, because if the way he's playing in the pocket right now, if he sits back there and is comfortable, he'll shred you. Like, there is no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. He will shred you apart. And I think you guys touched on it really, really well as well when you talk about maintain rush lane discipline. Mm-hmm. Don't get overexcited and be like, it's like Clayton Tune. He's athletic, but he's not Lamar Jackson. So don't think it's Clayton Tune back there this week again. Understand what it is. And it's just like, play smart. Yes, we want you to play aggressive. Yes, we want to try to go for the big explosive turnover plays and, negative yardage sacks and get you in all these great situations. But Lamar has shown you that it can be 3rd and 14 and he has no concerns that he can't get 15 yards. He knows he can. And so it's just play smart today. Just play smart and play opportunistic and just do what your job is. Don't worry about doing too much. And I think you're talented enough to limit him enough to where if Watson plays well, that you can win this game. I say it on offense, so I'll say it on defense too. I always you remember in 2020, when we were going in to play the Chiefs in the playoffs and everything. And one of the big talking points was the Chiefs can score in one play, but you don't have to. So don't feel the pressure of it's 7-0, so I have to get a strip sack. It's 7-0, so I got to get a 3 and out. No, you can let up 5 plays in a punt, or you can let up a field goal. You can do things like that. Just do not think you got to do it all on a play-by-play basis, because if you do, you're going to be dumb and you're going to get killed for it.
Yeah, and just real quick, I wanted to read because I didn't have it pulled up at the time. Gus Edwards, all of his touchdowns have come in the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
there is no running back right now that from a touchdown standpoint is hotter in the NFL than Gus Edwards. 1 against Detroit, 3 against Arizona, 2 last week against Seattle. And the 2 he had last week, that was on 5 carries.
Yeah, they run a similar offense to Philly. Philly will get these long drives and get down the field, and then usually it's Jalen Hurts at the 1 getting the push, whatever.
The push.
Yeah, the tush push, the Philly special, whatever you want to call it. All these
terrible name.
I agree. But they're built similar like that, and now Gus Edwards is the one in this offense that takes over for that. It doesn't have to be Lamar that's doing that. It's Gus Edwards. So the Browns have to keep them out of – they're not going to keep them out of the red zone, but out of inside the 5. They have to keep them outside of the 5, because if not, Gus has the ability to take it from 5, or Lamar can fake it to him and just roll right out and into the end zone. So I'm with you there.
You guys want to talk? I think it's just remarkable. This is what you have to give Baltimore credit for. It doesn't seem to matter who's running at running back for them. They just turn into an amazing football. Gus Edwards wasn't really wasn't great. I mean, he was average, I would say. Ever since this back half of the year, he's been fantastic. They lose J.K. Dobbins. Keaton Mitchell steps up. It just seems like always in Baltimore at running back, they always have somebody. Last year, they were without 3 running backs. Yeah. They bring in Kenyon Drake. He played well for them, who's now on the Browns practice squad. But isn't it just – it's just crazy in certain situations like that. All right. Now moving on to the Browns offense. Deshaun Watson, full week of practice, which was really encouraging to see, I think. No limitations there. I mean, he was still – okay. Dude,
don't acknowledge it.
No, I just put him in timeout. So, but anyway, okay. Deshaun Watson practiced all week this week. No limitations. It looks like he looked. From the video I saw, he definitely looked a lot better. At least from a throwing standpoint this week. Again, it's practice. You're on air, but still, I think that was encouraging to see. The one thing the Browns have a huge issue with, guys, right now is that offensive line. DeJuan Jones, not going to play this week. Jed Wills, such a bummer because he was playing the best football he's been playing since he's been a Brown. He is out 6 weeks. You're probably going to roll. We don't know. We're going to find out shortly. We're probably going to roll with James Hudson and then Jerron Christian at left tackle. James Hudson at right, Jerron Christian at left tackle.
I'm still not sure about that, though, man.
You think they go?
Go
really?
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'll say mine.
Okay. If you are Kevin Stefanski, what is the best way for you to have success on offense today? Because you're without your 2 – let me say this. You're actually without your 3 best offensive tackles. So, yes. I mean, not only do you have to protect Watson, and I think he's going to have to make a lot of plays with his feet today in order to have success. What would you guys do if you're Kevin Stefanski to try and attack this defense? Because your quarterback, more than likely, is not going to have time to throw today. And if they contain the run game, which I expect, very difficult today.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing though I will say about if you do load the box against them, like if they go out and do what we've seen teams do to the Browns always, which was take away Nick Chubb. Obviously, Nick Chubb's not here, but take away Nick Chubb in the running game is what we've seen last year with Jacoby and even last year with Watson and the year before with an injured Baker. Like we've seen all of that. I'm really intrigued if they do something like that to see how Deshaun Watson and the wide receivers react. Because if you're all in the box, that's making the intermediate and deep passing game easier because there's just less traffic back there. If you can get a little vertical and get a little maybe over the middle of the field, kind of where they're, especially if they're playing two high safety and not a single high safety, you can attack kind of that intermediate to deep play. I don't know. I don't necessarily know. But yeah, I'm still of the I would put Batonio at left tackle and then I would put Luke Whippler at left guard, and then I would play a lot. And this is a guy I think is going to play a lot. Period. I think you're going to see more Nick Harris. I think you're going to see Nick Harris as a tight end, Nick Harris as a fullback.
Can I follow up to that, Jacob, real quick?
Yeah.
This is me asking because I'm trying to. If Nick Harris is your next guy, technically, you're in this case 6 offensive linemen. Why would you not move him over Whippler? Do you think Whippler? You think Whippler's a better option, even though we haven't seen much of it?
Yeah, because and I know that the preseason is a fallacy. We know that. We know all of that. I have never seen Nick Harris play guard at a high level. Period. I've never seen it, and he's played in NFL games as a guard and looked terrible. And now he's coming in a position where. The thing is, it's his size that gets me the most when you're talking about him playing guard. That's why I have him pigeonholed as a center. He also has very short arms, and he has that weird little jump set that he does when he goes into pass protection. It's weird because it's non-traditional. He's effective. He's a good player. I think Nick Harris is a very good player. I just don't think he's a guard. And we've seen him play fullback / tight end now. And if you're bringing him in there where you're playing 2 tight end sets or 3 tight end sets, and you've got 6 people on the offensive line, I would rather Nick Harris be on that helping somebody on the outside than on the inside where I know he struggles. Now, Casey mentioned this on our show on the PSF app on Friday. What if you put Pochik, you move Posick over to guard and put Harris at center? I would do that. I would probably do that before putting Whippler at left guard, probably. But if you have no interest in doing that, and this is the thing,
how much are you willing to shuffle your line?
Exactly. So it's you're already moving. I think James Hudson is best as a right tackle anyway. We've seen him start at right tackle and be serviceable last year when Conklin was still recovering from the injury he had the year before from the patellar injury. And so I think Hudson over there, I think Hudson's your right tackle, period. In any of these situations, and we're going to find out in 3 minutes, but in any of these situations, I think Hudson is your right tackle. But yeah, how much do you want to shuffle it? They've practiced this all week. They've said it. They've told us we are comfortable with what we're going to do. We don't know what the hell that is, but they're comfortable with it. But for me, man, just give some help to whoever is if it's Christian at left tackle, put the help there. If it's not, if you got Batonio there, maybe you put the help with James Hudson on the right side. But I would just play more Nick Harris at tight end, and that would be my solution to how do you make it easier for Kevin Stefanski's offense.
For me, it's getting your best 5 on the field, whoever that 5 is, man. That's figure out a way to get those guys on the field. Whippler scares me being lined up across from Justin Madubuike. That scares me. That scares the shit out of me. But, and also they say they're comfortable with the plans because they can't go up there and say, man, we're panicking. This sucks. Red alert.
Which is what they're thinking, I guarantee you.
Well, they've definitely had the thought, whether they're comfortable with it for real now or not. When the option was first presented with them being out their 3 best offensive tackles, that's a no shit moment, and you got to lean on Bill Callahan in this time right now. You let him be the deciding factor of what's the best way this can work with what we have, and you have to roll with it. We'll see how that mitigates the game plan. If it's a lot of quick game, it's just hard because this is a week I would say, man, you get your quick game going with Njoku, but you got Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith right there. I mean, that's a tough ask, man. Those dudes they're phenomenal in coverage. So
Okay,
I don't know where it comes from. You got it?
I got your inactives. I'm still looking for everything else. Inactives: Marquise Goodwin, DTR, David Bell, Ronnie Hickman, Isaiah McGuire, Siaki Ika, and DeJuan Jones are your inactives.
Bummer with McGuire because he actually like we get Alex right back, which I'm glad about. The only reason I'm bummed about McGuire is I did like what he did in his snaps last week. So, but I think he's going to end up being a good, solid rotational piece.
Return of Greg Newsome is the biggest story there in my mind. Getting him back with Cam Mitchell leaving and needing a slot corner in that situation. Yeah.
How healthy is he, do you think, though, is the question. That's the big one, because groin injuries, man, we know with Amari, that can linger all year.
Yeah.
Worry with Newsome, honestly, because, I mean, it's great having him back. I just wonder if he's really 100%. But, you know, you do what you got to do.
I don't think
him at
anyone's
85% might be better than AJ Green at 95% or whatever the equation
Like
ends up being.
4.
I would rather have Greg Newsome on the field. The question is, though, because if you're in the slot today, you're on run support. That's going to be your calling card. He's going to come up a ton in run support. So, yeah, no, I'd rather have him than not have him. You know, I'm still bummed about DeJuan Jones, and we've known it for days. It's just that it's been such a godsend to you lost your starting All-Pro right tackle, and it hasn't hindered you at not one bit.
Well, that's interesting.
What we got.
Okay,
good luck, Nick, by the way.
Yeah,
appreciate you. Hey, you're a Ravens fan. Appreciate you hopping in, but good luck to you as well.
The Ravens will be without right tackle Morgan Moses today, so their starting right tackle is out.
Patrick McCarry will get the start.
Pierre Strong is also active. I think that's important to say because he was questionable all week.
That's the only big one for Baltimore. Jalen Armour-Davis, Tylon Wallace, Morgan Moses. I'm not going to say that guard's name, and Josh Johnson. But
so
legend Josh Johnson.
Here's a good. I actually want to follow up with you guys as far as the offensive line. And real quick, Chase, we now, man, we don't show the game. We would be copyrighted, and they would, they're
dicks. But I do know somewhere you can find it on Facebook. Go to the Browns fans only group.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll show me.
Anyway, I want to, and this isn't me worried about him. This is just me asking you guys. Are you a little bit surprised Alex Leatherwood hasn't gotten an opportunity?
I mean, I guess a little bit, but I think he just might. Yeah, exactly, Casey. I think he just must be the ultimate. What do you call it? A passion
project, kind of like what they did a couple of years ago with that offensive tackle. What's his name?
Alex Taylor, yeah.
What they did with him.
What they were trying to build him up and all that and things like that. Yeah, I think Leatherwood, I think they literally, and I know Casey has said this, a bunch of other people, they're tearing him all the way down to build him all the way back up. He had so many bad habits as a player that I think they're just like, hey, we like this guy, but we don't like him in 2023. And I think that's just what they're telling us with the moves they've made. At least not yet.
Okay. No, that's fair. I was just curious because I didn't even think he was going to play this year. But with just all the injuries, I'm like, I wonder why this guy doesn't get a chance. But, I mean, that does make sense. I mean, same with Whippler, though. We might not see Whippler this year. That's probably not a bad thing. So, it is what it is. We did call up 2 guys from the practice squad that are interesting. Austin Watkins Jr. will be active today for the Browns. And AJ Green. Do you expect either of them to have an impact today?
I mean, I'd love to say I want Austin Watkins to have an impact, but I think if you set the over-under at 1.5 receptions, you probably have to take the under, right?
Yeah.
Sadly, unfortunately.
And if he does, that means bad things happen to someone else. He's all of a sudden not going to just implement in the game plan.
Or that Kevin Stefanski schemed him open and the quarterback actually saw it. That could be.
So unlikely.
Wow.
No, I know what both of you are saying, and it's just one of those things where the thing is on here, and I wanted to preface this, that like for people that aren't really on Twitter and things like that we will make a lot of Browns Twitter jokes that if you've never seen what goes on Browns Twitter, you won't get. But trust us when we say, if you're not on there, don't go on there.
No.
Yeah, stay away. It's not good. It's fun.
It couldn't be more of a toxic situation.
Well, Facebook's worse though, so I mean,
it is. I'm not really on Facebook. Like I am to share like our streams and whatnot. Other than that, I'm not on there. My wife loves Facebook, and that's her. She loves Facebook. I like Twitter more, so kind of that's how it is. But
you just described my marriage.
Well, is it not okay? Doesn't it seem like my grandparents love Facebook, my mom, like it seems that's the more like older adult site. Twitter is the younger adult site and kids. So
yeah,
he is him. Hello, he is him.
so anyway.
All right, guys. So I want to go back to Deshaun Watson here for a minute. Looked really, I say, given the circumstances, coming back from injury, not playing for a while, he looked and showed moments against the Cardinals that were encouraging. This is a different beast. You were going up against, and I said this and people disagreed, and that's fine. I believe you were going up against the best defense in the NFL. Now, why do I say the Ravens are the best? They don't give up points. Like when your defense is number one in points allowed, to me, that means you're the best defense. And they're nearly even with the Browns in almost every category as far as defensively. So I think the Ravens are the best defense. What are your expectations for Deshaun Watson today? Because it is going to be on his shoulders. If he can somehow deliver and have a great performance and the Browns win, I mean, we're all going to be hooting and hollering for a while. So what are your expectations for him today?
I think he's going to play well. I think that you just said that the Ravens are the best defense in the league. Well, I think the Browns are, and Deshaun sees them every day in practice. So it's very similar to what he's going to face today in the Ravens. So I think he's more prepared. Last week on whatever shows we were talking on, we said that was a perfect comeback game and a tune-up game in the Cardinals. He started off rusty, and then he picked it up. You know, he had the swagger moment with the first down. He was dropping dimes to Amari Cooper. And I think he can do that again today. We think that the downfield game will be open. And if he can show what he did last week, then he'll be just fine. I don't expect like a huge monster game. Like Lamar Jackson hasn't had many monster games this year. You look at his stats and like they don't pop off the page. Deshaun didn't pop off the page last week, but he had great plays and then he made progress. And I think we see that again from him. And I think he plays well enough to win. Like I said, it doesn't have to be 350 and 3 touchdowns, but he has to throw no picks and not fumble the ball. If he can not turn the ball over again, it's going to, no matter what his stats are, it's going to be way better.
No, I echo a lot of that, man. It's efficiency for me. Like we need 65% completion percentage, no negatives. You can't, no fumbles, no interceptions. You play a clean sheet on that side. But I'll say this: if the Browns can get it to the red zone, you got to convert those. Those are such rare opportunities against the Ravens defense. If you get in the red zone, you got to score 7. You got to walk away. I expect this to be an ugly game. I think this is first to 20 wins in my mind. Both these defenses are super stingy. You know the Browns are going to be playing with purpose after what happened to them in week 4 on defense. Offensive, they knew they didn't have any help. They were flying by themselves. They knew that they didn't have the offense to pick them up. I think if the offense can score early and kind of give them some good faith, I think you're going to see a low-scoring back and forth type of affair. Man, I just need efficiency. Just this team is set up to succeed as long as the quarterback doesn't hold them back. And he doesn't need to be great, but you have to be great in moments. You need that. This game's going to be 3 or 4 plays decide the whole game. Can he make those 3 or 4 plays? That's the big question for me.
Do you think that the run game can do enough to support Deshaun in this game? Can they do enough to provide him with any type of support? Because I personally, it's nothing against Ford. If you look at Jerome Ford, he grades out as by far like the worst NFL running back, like so far since he's taken over for Nick Chubb. And that's not good whatsoever. And now you're going up against a really elite run defense without 2 of your starting tackles. I don't know. I have a hard time believing the Browns are going to be able to run the ball effectively today, if really at all.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't last week either. They just didn't quit. Like we're not efficient in the run game. They stuck with it. You know what I mean? I don't know if you can afford to do that. Yeah, it was bad last week, and that wasn't against the Ravens. I don't know if they can afford to lean into it like they did last week, even though it wasn't working. I think it's going to be a much closer to a 50-50 split. And this running game is going to have to involve Watson's legs. I think that's the only way this running game stays up in my mind to keep them close enough with the chains is if Watson's running for first downs every couple series.
That's what I was just about to say. Watson could help the run game, both by himself running the ball, and if he's passing well, then that's going to force the Ravens to not focus in on the run, and that could give holes to Ford. I'd like to see Pierre Strong start the game, honestly, and get it going that way, because Ford is too much like hops around in the pocket and goes side to side and then goes. It just like go straight ahead. And for some reason, they love going east and west and not north and south, and that's annoying. I want to see what Pierre Strong can do in the starters role. It can't get any worse than what we've had.
The thing is, they seem dead set on wanting Ford to be that guy. Like, and here's what I said on FDP, and tell me if you guys agree with this. And for anyone who's in the chat and doesn't know, that's the Faithful Dogs podcast, which is every Wednesday night at 8:00 on the Network 216 YouTube channel. They seem to want to get Ford involved. It seems to be that he plays well off of Watson. Are you guys noticing that as well? Do you think that's why he is the main guy for the Browns? I mean, he is the last couple of weeks, it's been him more than it has Hunt or Strong recently. So do you think that's why, because he plays well off of Deshaun?
I just think it's a trust factor. I think whatever's happening in practice, I think that they just trust Ford. Because for me, it's not ability. Like if you're doing it straight ability, that's Pierre Strong all day. There must be deficiencies intricacies that Strong's not showing them in practice that gives them the faith that he can carry it out in the game. To me, it feels like they're just going with what they know. And even Stefanski referenced it. They asked him this week, and they said they're still learning Strong. They said because he got there so late that they're still learning him. I don't like that as an excuse for why he's not getting run. For me, that I don't know. It's a trust factor, I think, and they just trust Ford. Ford does have things you like. If he does get in the open field, he can run away from you. But it's being overly patient. Overly, like with this guy, it's a timing thing. Like he's not hitting. It's not just blind hit the hole and go. Like you have to find your cutback lanes, and there's things you're looking for. It develops too slow with him, and too many times he gets caught behind the line of scrimmage. For me, it'd be Strong all day, but for whatever reason, and there could be a reason right there. Strong is horrible in pass protection. Maybe that
plays a part, yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a thing. But to me, it's not even. I don't give a shit who starts, man. It's all about shares. It's about shares. Like I don't care who takes the first snap. That's meaningless. But over the course of a game, I need touches. I need Pierre Strong to get 15 touches. Whatever that looks like, however that has to happen, I think that maximizes your abilities to be explosive in the run game. So it's about finding a balance, and for whatever reason, they're comfortable with Ford.
Is he that bad? Is he that bad in pass protection that everyone to where he can't be on the field?
Strong?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like it is.
I need to watch it more carefully. I guess I'll be honest. I have not watched it as carefully as I probably should. So that's on me.
Well,
so I'm glad people are letting me know because I was not aware.
That answer from Stefanski where we're still learning him. We're in week 10. Like you got him, you didn't get him in week 2. You got him in before the season started. So the not knowing him, that's sort of garbage to me because we're 10 weeks in. You see him every day in practice. Yet you knew Deshaun was able to play, but not able to play at the same time. So I don't get it. I don't get that statement. That's dumb to me.
Well, it's coach speak, man. Like, I mean, he's not going to go out there and straight up say, hey, he can't pass block for shit.
No, but we're still learning him.
Yeah, right. But my point is they're still finding his role because in the end, he comes at the end of training camp and it's like, he can't pass block. So right now, if you're putting him in, when Pierre Strong is in, it is a very, very strong indication they are running the football because that's what happens when Pierre Strong is in. Same with the way they've been using Nick Harris. Like they're putting Nick Harris out there. Nick Harris played 18 snaps last week and 15 of them were runs. Like it's one of those things where it's right now, it's pretty apparent that when they put those players in, that's what they're going to do because they can't do these other things. And I think the thing is too, the way Stefanski words things, I think they come off a lot different than what he means. Like, cause I get what you're saying. Like, we don't know him. No, that is kind of bullshit because he has been there, in fact, long enough for you to know him, but he should what he really should say is like, we're trying to figure out his role is probably better. Like what exactly he can do week in and week out. And I just think that they've been so obsessed with figuring out quarterback that they haven't really been able to focus on anything else, which is not a good excuse, but that's just what I think it is.
You guys agree with this one? Also, old man Driz T, appreciate all the insight, by the way. Ford also has issues with going down easy when he's hit, but he's so explosive. He gets good yards per carry. I mean, he breaks big runs every now and then, but his vision to me looks just poor. I think he does not have the vision.
Let me see here. I wanted to get these numbers. Okay, so
it's not good.
This is Pierre Strong. This is Pierre Strong's numbers as a pass blocker this season. So against Pittsburgh, week 3, he had 3 pass blocking snaps, 2 pressures. Against Tennessee, 1 snap, 1 pressure. Against Baltimore, 1 snap, 1 pressure. Against San Francisco, he didn't have any pass blocking snaps. Indy, 5 snaps, 4 pressures. Against Seattle, 1 snap, 1 pressure. So that's why he doesn't play as much.
Well, I think we find why Bill Belichick got rid of him.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I knew he was bad, but in terms of pressure to snap ratio, I didn't realize that he has 11 pass blocking snaps and 9 pressures.
Send him out on routes.
Something like that.
I mean, that's what I would probably do with him. I guess the problem is I don't even think he's going to play that much today, especially with the lack of offensive tackle experience out there. At least that's the way I could be wrong on that. That's just the way I see it personally. It's not a great situation. That's for sure. The running game is it's a mess.
I miss Nick Chubb.
Huh?
I miss Nick Chubb.
Oh my goodness, yes.
We all do.
Need him back. That's can't come back soon enough. But anyway, one thing the Browns have struggled with, and it was a topic of conversation this week, so kind of wanted your guys' input on this. Amari Cooper's been the guy. I mean, it's been pretty apparent. He's been the guy. David Njoku, I would say, has been the second one, but even he has not been involved a super high amount. Elijah Moore, not really any production. Outside of Amari Cooper, the production has been very little, and that includes – I'll include Njoku in that because until recently, it's not like his yards he's really doing a whole lot. At the wide receiver position, how do you think the fancy goes about trying to get some of these other guys more involved, and specifically Elijah Moore? Because teams, I feel like eventually are just going to double Amari Cooper and force someone else to beat them.
Can we get some Nick Harris carries? Is that what we?
I want a Nick Harris catch.
I want a Nick Harris touchdowns more than I want.
If we're doing a freaking Nick Harris carry, if I knew that going into a game there's going to be a Nick Harris carry, I would put in an anytime touchdown for the Ravens defense. Pick up the ball and just carry it in the end zone.
That's give me that.
That's exactly how I feel about that. If that were to happen,
starts a street fight. Yeah. Okay, so the thing about Amari Cooper that I find so fascinating with what you're talking about is we have seen teams starting to double team him. I mean, that huge carry there, or carry. I know I'm getting all confused about all the damn shenanigans that's going on in here. That big pass play that sets up the final touchdown last week, they drew it up in the dirt, and they drew it up knowing it was against double coverage. Like, that's what Amari said. Like, he was like, listen, they're doubling me when we get this pressure. If we see this kind of pressure on third down, they've done it several times. They're doubling me, but I can beat it with a post route. That's what he said. I can beat it with a post route. I know it. It's going to be fine. He never even really got to the post part of it. It looked like he just ran a go route, which that's fine too, man. You won. And so we're already seeing some of that. And so now is the time. I'm a broken record. Now is the time to attack the intermediate field with Elijah Moore, because they're starting to understand that they love David Njoku in that 5 to 10 range, yard range, somewhere in the middle of the field, especially in the red zone, Deshaun Watson has shown. And, he's showing it now in games, but he showed it to us in practice and stuff that he loves looking for Njoku inside the 10-yard line. Absolutely loves it. And we saw it pay off last week. So I really think you're going to see some more of that here before too long. By the way, I misread all of Pierre Strong's pass blocking data. So just throw that shit out. Anyway, I was reading the wrong thing, but he's got a 50 pass blocking grade. Okay. So that's what we got.
Better than we thought.
Yeah.
It is actually. I didn't realize it was.
It is. I thought it was going to be but I will say that his pass blocking grade for Seattle was a 26. Anyway.
Okay. Well, that answers you guys answered my question.
We answered the question. We beat that dead horse with a hammer. Anyway. Yeah, man, you got to figure it out. There's talent there. That's what drives me crazy. Everybody's saying, well, everybody told us that there was talent this wide receiver room, and there hasn't been. The quarterback play's been dog shit. Don't get me wrong. There are some things that the wide receivers could do better. Absolutely. You're always going to get that with just about every team at just about every freaking position. But Elijah Moore, they're playing him almost exclusively in the slot, which he's better as an outside receiver. And they're doing all these they're not letting him use any speed in my mind. They're all these 0 to 5 yard routes instead of the 5 to 15, which is where he really excels, because then you could get him in open field and you can make a guy miss. It's got to be Elijah Moore. They have got to find a way. We saw it in camp when Cooper was hurt that Watson loved throwing it to Elijah Moore. We saw it in camp. We saw it in practice. We've seen them do it. We haven't really seen them do it in a game. Granted, the quarterback play has been absolute dog shit. So I just don't think you can really assess the wide receivers. But this is a great game for that, because if they're going to attack in the box, and I think they will, to make sure that they cannot run, those 10 to 15 yard intermediate throws with Elijah Moore should be here. So him, David Njoku, they've got to be the guys that lift the passing offense.
Completely agree with you. Yeah, there's nothing else to even add, at least on my end to add.
I'd like to see David Bell be able to step up a little bit and get a few more
He's
targets.
out.
He's out.
Oh, never mind. No, he's out. Jacob told me that earlier, and I forgot.
You're thinking Cedric Tillman, aren't you?
Cedric Tillman,
you were right. I'd like to see him get some looks today, and maybe he will. We don't know. It will be interesting. I just don't want to say more, because I swear to God I've said that every week.
So bad.
We all have, dude. It's okay.
I just want to see Cedric Tillman get a few more snaps, and I really want to see what Amari and Deshaun can do to follow up their performance last week. Hey, we just drew this up, and hey, if we see this coverage, I'm going to do this. Okay, I want to see them do that again and take that deep ball chance, because Amari Cooper's not going to burn you down the field, but he has that finesse route running that boom, he's right behind you, and boom,
he's
there's
open.
the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a tough week because they have to try to hit some explosives, and this is a tough team to hit him against. Geno Stone leads the league in interceptions.
Yep.
It's going to be tough sledding, but they have to find ways to get explosive just to loosen up this defense, because it's going to be a nightmare trying to run the ball against them. Mm-hmm. And my heart goes out for Elijah Moore. It's like Groundhog Day, man. This is the third year in a row he's led the league in cardio. That dude he gets no love. He's open a lot and doesn't get the ball. And whatever the disconnect is, they got to figure that out, because they need that other guy, man. They need a Robin. They got a Batman. They need a Robin. So they got to figure out a way to get it. I'd like to see Tillman come down with 1 or 2 chunk plays, and I think that would suffice on his end. But it comes down to efficiency, and I would like to say that you want to see him spread the ball around, but I think we're just going to see Coop get a ton of targets. I think that's what it's going to be until it's not.
All right, let's have some fun here. This is where we go to a prop we like for today's game. I got one right off the bat. To me, the fact that the odds are like this, clearly they just think the Browns aren't going to be able to do anything on offense. Deshaun Watson anytime touchdown is plus 850.
Well,
and then one for Baltimore. Okay, Lamar Jackson anytime touchdown plus 210.
The one that gets me is the over-under on Watson's passing yards. And I guess
I saw it too, dude. I can't believe that.
It's 189.5.
Well, did you see Lamar's?
What is? No, I didn't.
199.5.
They just expect this to be a 10-7 ball game, but by the way the odds in these props are set, that's the only other explanation I can think of for why these numbers are what they are. And I get it. Like, Watson has not been great, but like not throwing for 200 yards, it's like that's a tough one. Like I thought, oh, the Browns defense is really, really good against Gardner Minshew. And I did the under, and the under for him in that game was 197.5. Like, it wasn't even as low as what Watson's is right now, but you're saying that he's going to throw for well under 200 yards. And I think even if he throws some garbage time yardage, he gets over that. So if you're looking for one prop bet from me, it's the over 189.5 for Watson's throwing yards. And I'm not saying he's going to throw for 400, but I think he at least throws for 2. Like, that's just my thought.
I think we're going to be trailing, so I think he's going to have to anyway.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw a lot.
Be able to run the ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at it. Do you guys, Eddie or Casey, you guys have one you like?
I like Njoku over 32.5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Mark Andrews, the over-under for receptions is 4.5. I would take the over in that. That seems like it's free money.
How is Lamar an anytime touchdown plus 210, given that he scored 4 touchdowns against the Browns last time he played him?
So those anytime touchdown scores, most of the time it means rushing. So
well, he ran for 2.
Correct, but I mean,
he ran for 2 last time.
He did.
He ran for 2 against us last time.
That's true.
That's why I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that makes sense to me. But again, hey, Vegas knows more than I'll ever know. Clearly, these dudes get so close on everything. I thought Ohio State being favored the other day by 32.5. There's no way they're going to cover that huge margin. Okay, they did it in the first half. I mean, just nuts. So these people know a lot more than I do, and that's for sure. All right, guys, it's almost that time. Before we give our game predictions, what is the key for the Browns to win this game today? I was going to say stay in this game just because Baltimore's been putting up points like crazy lately, but I'll say to win this game.
Play your game. They have to play their game. That's what they have to do. If the Browns play their game that we've seen a lot this year so far, then they can win this game. You know, this is, like I said on shows earlier this week, this is not week 4. This is not Dorian Thompson-Robinson finding out 2.5 hours before the game, hey, you're starting the defense. Like, okay, cool, we got this rook here. Oh man, the rook sucks really, and he's not ready for this big time. Like, we got to be on the field a lot. Like, it's not that. So if they just play their style of football, especially how they did last week, and obviously they're not going to put up the same numbers they did last week. That'd be nonsensical to think. But if they can play that style of football, they'll be in this game and they can win it.
Mine's twofold. Set the tone. You got to set the tone early that this isn't week 4. You got to go out there, put it in their minds that you're going to be in dogfight all day. And then it comes down to third down efficiency on both sides of the ball. You know, you got to find a way to get the Ravens in 3rd and long and get off the field. And conversely, you got to find ways to make your third downs not impossible. So if they can do that, they're going to be in it to the end.
This is probably, I don't know if this is a cop out by me or not. Deshaun Watson needs to be elite. That's it. Yeah, he does. I mean, because Lamar is a front runner for the MVP right now. If you want to beat a front runner for the MVP, you need to be a MVP caliber player, because you go out and he needs to be an elite franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he has to be the best quarterback on the field, on any field this week, but he has to give you top 10 elite play, because you're down to your 4th and 5th tackle. We don't know yet, obviously, how they're going to do it. If it's going to be Chris, if they're going to move Batoni, whatever. We don't know any of that right now. You have 2-3 running backs that are quite often averaging 3 yards a carry. You're going against a defense that is just about as good, if not as good, as what you have. And you have to depend on some big explosive plays and some running plays from your quarterback. These are the games that you upgrade from Baker Mayfield to Deshaun Watson. This is the games that you do that for. These are the games that, if you want this division, if you want to win this division and you want to be, considered a Super Bowl contender right now, you need your quarterback to be that dude. So today he has got to be that dude. And I'm not saying he has to do absolutely everything, but he has got to elevate that offense's play today, or they don't have a shot.
I mean, you guys pretty much have hit everything. I think if this offensive line can be average today, I need average.
Sure.
I can't have the other thing too, going off what you said, Jacob, that offensive line, Watson's going to have to create a lot today, but he's also going to need that line from time to time to give him something as far as protection. If they can't do that, it might be a very long day because you can only ask a guy to do so. He's not Lamar when it comes to running. I mean, Don't get me wrong. He can improvise and he keeps plays alive and one of the best in the league still at doing that. It's a tall task either way, but I agree with you guys. Game predictions. Let's hear them. Eddie, who you got?
I'm going Browns 16-13. The first to pass the 15 points wins the game.
I like it.
And I think it comes down to Dustin Hopkins at the end. I said earlier this week that whoever has the ball last will give their kicker a chance to win the game. And
I'll tell you what, it would be really satisfying given what Justin Tucker's done to us for years to go into Baltimore, Dustin Hopkins nail a 55-yard game-winning field goal. Oh, my gosh, would that be – that might be the most satisfying way to win. I mean, it'd be great to blow him out, but close game, down to the wire, Dustin Hopkins nails it for the win. Anyway, sorry. Whoever wants to go next.
No, that would be absolutely beautiful, man. Just give me Browns 24-20.
Man, everyone, okay.
Well, Jacob hasn't burned it yet, so I'm going to make this fucking ugly. I think that's what it's got to be, man. Give me Browns 22-19. I like the D-Hop call for the last second win.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry, guys. It's not a sweep.
Not D-Hop, free hop.
I've had this for a while. Like, when I knew this game was on the schedule when it was after the Cardinals, I still had this as a loss. I just think Baltimore right now is the hottest team in the NFL. I know San Francisco was when they came to Cleveland. If this game was in Cleveland, I think my opinion would be a little different. I think going to Baltimore, it's such a tall task. I think the Browns are going to keep it close, and Baltimore, though, is going to pull away in the fourth quarter. So I got I'm sticking with my same prediction. I got Baltimore 31, Cleveland 21. I hope I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong.
Me too.
Reverse psychology. That's what I'm trying to do.
If the Steelers and Colts can do it, it's on the table. That's all I'm saying.
I still don't know how the Colts.
I don't know how the Steelers won that game. Like, that first half was a blowout, not on the scoreboard, but what they were doing, because they weren't scoring. Baltimore wasn't, but like they were carving them up. And it's just like, hey man, like we talk about the way the Browns beat the 49ers and the way they beat the Colts and the way they scrapped in games they shouldn't have, man. This is an opportunity to show that you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, guys. As we're wrapping things up, is there anything else you guys want to add on this game?
No, I still don't have the offensive line combination, so.
Okay. All right. No worries. Also, old man Driz T, thank you for your insight this show. It was great. And yeah, go Browns except me. That's fine. No, it's all good. I'm not Jack Robinson here. I don't pick the Browns for every game. So love Jack, love him a lot, but he picks the Browns for every game. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this Network 216 Browns versus Ravens pregame show. We're going to talk to you guys all again next Sunday at 11 o'clock when the Browns take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Cleveland. Can't wait to see you guys all again soon. As always, go Browns.
Go Browns.